I'm just letting the board members know that I'm waiting for the court reporter to join on, and so that's why we haven't started, okay? I just again want to alert the general public and also to alert our board members that we're waiting for our court reporter to join onto the call. And as soon as the court reporter joins on, we will officially start our hearing. All right, thank you. So apologize for the delay. We're in the record. Good morning, everyone. As chairperson of the Alcohol Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with DC Official Code Section 2576 of the Open Meetings Act, I'm welcoming you to the regular scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to guidance made available by the District of Columbia's Office of Open Government regarding electronic meetings held by public bodies during the public health emergency. Pursuant to this guidance, notice of today's meeting was provided 48 hours in advance of the meeting on ABRA's website and on the district's central meeting calendar. The notice included the time, date, agenda, and call-in or login information for public participation. This electronic meeting is being hosted by a WebEx account provided by the District of Columbia government. Please address any questions or complaints to the OOG at opengovoffice@dc.gov. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairman of the board. I would like to introduce the other members of the ABC board who are also participating electronically pursuant to Mayor's Order 2020-054. Please respond when I announce your name. Mr. James Short.
Mr. James Short, present.
Mr. Bobby Cato.
Bobby Cato, present.
Ms. Rima Wahabzada.
Rima Wahabzada, present.
Ms. Rafi Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, present.
Ms. Jenny Hansen.
Jenny Hansen, present.
Mr. Edward Grandis.
Edward Grandis, present.
The board has 7 members in attendance for the conduct of business today, and that constitutes a quorum. Before we get underway with today's hearing calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of these hearings is understood by everyone. There are 5 cases scheduled for today. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for our IT specialist to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to enable your equipment. If your case is not being heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphones for the concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them using the question and answer feature or email simone.andrews2@dc.gov. Our first order of business today is case number 20 CC 00072, Tacoma Park Liquors, license number 19598. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the parties, the government and the licensee, please?
Sure, stand by.
Thank you.
Ms. Krupke, your rights have been elevated. Mr. or Ms. Patel, your rights have been elevated. And Mr. Chair, we have a call-in from Mr. Bernard Dietz. I think that's their representative. I'm going to go ahead and unmute his line.
Thank you.
Present.
That's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. All right. I would like to have everyone introduce themselves for the record, and also in doing your introduction, please spell and state your name for the record. Let's start with the government.
Good morning, Jessica Krupke on behalf of the District of Columbia. My name is spelled Jessica, last name Krupke.
Good morning, Ms. Krupke. Mr. Dietz, can you please identify yourself for the record and spell your name? Please spell your name, please.
I'm Bernard C. Dietz, representing the licensee. It's D as in David, IETZ.
And who is the licensee? Is the licensee represented here today?
Yes.
Can the licensee, if you have a camera, can you please turn your camera on and unmute your phone? Please spell and state your name for the record, please.
Sure. My name is Gautam Patel.
How do you spell your name, sir?
Gautam, G for George, A for Apple, E for Umbrella, T for Tom, A for Apple, M for Mango. Gautam. Last name Patel, Patel.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Ms. Krupke, this is a show cause hearing status. Are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, the parties do not have an offer in compromise to present to the board for your consideration today.
All right, thank you very much. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined. The board is unable to provide the parties with a date for a show cause hearing today, but we'll advise you shortly of the date and time for the protest, for the show cause hearing. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then. All right, the next case in our calendar, can you hold on 1 minute, please? We're off the record for 1 minute.
Hello? Yes.
I apologize, we're back to the record. The next case in our calendar is case number 20 CC 00080, the Broad Branch Market, license number 81331. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee, please, the licensee and his or her representative?
Sure, stand by. Ms. Stannard, your rights have been elevated.
Thank you.
Oh, Ms. Krupke, that's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, let's start with the government. So could the government please state and spell its name for the record, please?
Good morning, Jessica Krupke on behalf of the District of Columbia, last name Krupke.
Thank you. Let's have the licensee identify themselves for the record, please.
Hi, good morning. Tracy Stannard, Stannard, owner of Broad Branch Market.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ms. Krupke, are there any preliminary matters in this case, please?
No, the parties do not have an offer in compromise to present the board for your consideration today, but the parties have been engaging in negotiations and expect to provide a written offer in compromise for your consideration sometime in the near future.
All right, thank you. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 20 CC 00086, Spar Liquor, license number 105207. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee, please?
Sure, stand by. Mr. or Ms. Helou, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is Tirhans
hold-
Hailu.
Hold on 1 minute, please, ma'am. All right, could I have the parties introduce themselves for the record, starting with I need the parties to state and spell their name for the record, and we'll start with the government, please.
Good morning, Jessica Krupke on behalf of the District of Columbia, last name Krupke.
Good morning. Can we have the licensee state and spell their name for the record, please? The licensee, you can please unmute your phone.
Good morning. This is Tirhans Hailu, Tirhas Hailu.
How do you spell your last name, ma'am?
Hailu is Hailu.
Thank you. Again, this is a show cause status hearing. Are there any preliminary matters in this case, Ms. Crep?
No, the parties do not have an offer in compromise for the board's consideration today.
All right, thank you. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined, and we'll advise the parties shortly of the date and time for the show cause hearing. Thank you very much and have a great day. All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 20 CIT 00554 Half Smoke, license number 100855. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee, please?
Sure, stand by. Mr. Bianco, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Can we have the parties introduce themselves for the record, starting with the government?
Good morning, Jessica Krupke on behalf of the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Ms. Krupke. And Mr. Bianco?
Good morning, Mr. Anderson. Richard Bianco on behalf of the respondent.
Good morning, Mr. Bianco. Ms. Krupke, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, the parties do not have an offer in compromise for the board's consideration today.
All right, thank you. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined, and we'll advise the parties shortly of the date and time of the show cause hearing. Thank you for your participation this morning and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 21 CMP 00005 Hewitt Ethiopian Restaurant and Market, license number 100297. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the government? I believe it's Mr. Louis and the licensee, please.
Sure, stand by. Mr. Louis, your rights have been elevated. Ms. Tessom, your rights have been elevated. And that's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Tessom, can you please, do you have a camera? If you have a camera, can you open your camera, please, if you have one?
Yeah.
Please open your camera. I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think it's open now.
No, I cannot see you, ma'am. That's better, thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Tessom, it's my understanding that you had requested a translator for this morning, is that correct?
But it's okay, I can go.
Are you stating that you are comfortable with moving forward with this hearing without a translator, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine, thank you. All right, let's, can I have the parties introduce themselves for the record, starting with the government? Please state and spell your name, please. Please, I cannot hear you, Mr. Louis. No, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good morning, Mr. Chairperson. John Louis on behalf of the District of Columbia. That's JOHNLUI. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tessom, can you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Okay, my name is Sarah Teshome, S-A-R-A. Last name is T-E-S-H-O-M-E.
And what is your relationship to the establishment?
I am the owner of Hewitt Restaurant.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Louis, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairperson.
And what is that, please?
There is an offer in compromise to present for the board's approval.
All right, can you please tell us what it is?
Certainly, there are 10 terms. Number 1, respondent shall serve a 15-day suspension of its ABC license. The date of the 15-day suspension to be served shall be Monday, February 1st, 2021 through Monday, February 15, 2021, which includes time served during the summary suspension period. The ABC license suspension shall be lifted at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, February 16, 2021, provided all other applicable requirements in this OIC have been satisfied by the respondent. Number 2, mask. Except when eating or drinking while seated during the public health emergency, the respondent shall require that all owners and employees of the establishment wear a mask or face covering while present on the licensed premises, regardless of whether they are on duty. The respondent shall also require patrons during the public health emergency to wear masks or face coverings prior to entering or while waiting in line outside of the licensed premises, while traveling to use the restroom, or until they are seated and eating or drinking. Number 3, music and entertainment. Respondents shall not offer live music or entertainment, including disc jockeys, while the District of Columbia remains subject to Mayor's Orders 2020-067, Mayor's Order 2020-075, Mayor's Order 2020-080, Mayor's Order 2020-119, and in accordance with the board's notice of 9th emergency rulemaking. The respondent shall only offer recorded or background music that is played at a conversational level but is not heard in homes of district residents. Number 4, operating hours. Respondents should not sell, serve, or permit the consumption of alcoholic beverages past 10 p.m., but may operate for patrons until midnight during any day of the week while the District of Columbia remains subject to the mayor's orders and in accordance with the board's rulemaking. Number 5, dining activities. Respondents shall only serve food and alcoholic beverages to patrons seated at tables while the District of Columbia remains subject to the mayor's orders and in accordance with the board's rulemaking. Tables shall be placed so that patrons in different parties are placed at least 6 feet apart from one another with no more than 6 patrons per table. Respondents shall have a menu in use containing a minimum of 3 prepared food items available for purchase and shall require patrons to purchase one or more prepared food items per table. Patrons shall be permitted to walk around the establishment with food and or alcoholic, patrons shall not be permitted to walk around the establishment with food and or alcoholic beverages. Number 6, bar activities. Respondents shall not seat patrons at indoor or outdoor bars that are being staffed or utilized by a bartender. Patrons shall not be permitted to stand at an indoor or outdoor bar to order food or alcoholic beverages. Number 7, contact tracing system. Respondents shall implement a reservation system by phone, online, or on site and keep customer logs to facilitate contact tracing by DC Health. Number 8, capacity. Respondent shall limit its indoor dining capacity to no more than 25% of the lowest indoor occupancy load or seating capacity on its certificate of occupancy, excluding employees and outdoor seating, while the District of Columbia remains subject to the mayor's orders, whichever applies, and in accordance with the board's rulemaking. Number 9, social distancing walkthrough. Prior to lifting the suspension of the establishment's alcoholic beverage license, an ABRA investigator shall conduct a walkthrough of the licensed establishment with respondent to evaluate the establishment's compliance with the district's social distancing requirements. This evaluation shall include an assessment of the respondent's compliance with the mayor's orders and 23 DCMR section 810. And number 10, show cause. This matter will be referred to the Office of the Attorney General for possible show cause proceeding. That is it, Mr. Chairperson.
All right, thank you. Ms. Deflon,
Yes.
it's my understanding that there is an offer in compromise, and Mr. Louie just stated the terms of the offer in compromise. In pertinent part, it stated that your business will remain closed from February 1st until February 15th, and that the suspension will be lifted at 8 a.m. on February 16th.
Yes.
Is this your understanding of the offer in compromise?
Yes.
Are you aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes.
Are you also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
All right. With that said, I make a motion that the offer in compromise that was just read into the record by Mr. Louis be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Moab Zada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter therefore passes 7-0. I would like to thank the parties for working this matter out and coming to an agreement, and have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And we have no more cases on our morning calendar. On our afternoon calendar, we have a protest hearing, which is case number 19 PRO 00148, and it's SIP, otherwise known as 1812 Lounge, license number 95164. This hearing is canceled, and proceedings related to this matter are stayed pursuant to board order number 2021-072. We're now going to do our legal agenda. The first matter on our legal agenda is a review of a settlement agreement between between a group of 8 and the applicant. The applicant is Unity, license number 109064. I make a motion that we approve this agreement. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Moab Zada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0. The next matter on our legal agenda is a review of a settlement agreement between the applicant and ANC 5C. This is for Jamaica, license number 117384. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis will second.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Moab Zada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0. The next matter on our agenda is a review of, on the legal agenda, is a review of protestants 6B's motion to dismiss protest in case number 20 PRO 00047. This is handle 19, license number 117027. I make a motion that we deny this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Moab Zada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 7-0. The next matter on our agenda is a review of applicant's opposition to protestants' motion to dismiss protest in case number 20 PRO 00047, handle 19, license number 117027. This is now moot. The next matter on our agenda is a review of protestants' reply to opposition to motion to dismiss protest hearing in case number 20 PRO 00047, handle 19, license number 117027. This matter is also now moot. The next matter on our agenda is a review of applicant's motion to reconsider and or vacate board order number 2021-046. This is ANS Grocery license number 101367. I make a motion that we deny this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 7-0-0. The next matter is a review of protestants' opposition to motion to reconsider and or vacate board order number 2021-046. This is ANS Grocery, license number 101367. This is now moot. The next matter on our agenda is a review of applicants' reply to opposition to motion to reconsider and or vacate board order number 2021-046. This is ANS Grocery, license number 101367. This is also moot. The next matter on our agenda is a review of motion to reinstate canceled license dated February 2nd, 2021. This is Medusa Lounge, license number 106785. I make a motion that we deny this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0-0. The next matter is our Landon Park Moratorium Zone Second Emergency Rulemaking. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote in the motion that's been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0-0. The next matter on the agenda is the temporary suspension of late fees notice of second emergency rulemaking. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0-0. We now move to our licensing agenda. The first matter on our licensing agenda is a review request for change of hours. This is for Wegmans, license number 116841. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ms.
Ed
Crockett
Grandis.
seconds.
Ms. Crockett and Mr. Grandis have seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Edward Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0-0. The next matter on our licensing agenda is a review request to remove entertainment endorsement from license. This is for the Imperial license number 109167. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis. will
Mr.
second.
Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Nawab Zada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0. The next matter is a review request for approval to provide a gift of 2 dozen roses that does not exceed $500 in value to various licensed DC realtors. The request has been made by Breakthrough Beverage, license number 060518. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0. The next matter on licensing agenda is a review of a letter from ANC 6E regarding transfer of location to 433 Mass Avenue Northwest. This is for Metropolitan West Wellness Center, which is a dispensary. The license is, the ABRA license is 117376. This is just an FYI for the board where the ANC's weigh-in will be given great weight by the agency. We now move to our cancellation agenda. The ABC board will be canceling the following license for the reasons outlined below. District Bottega, license number 116600. The licensee requested cancellation. I make a motion that we cancel this license. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato, Ms. Wabzada,
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 7-0. We now move to our docket. The docket, these are applications that were submitted to the board for review. And what I will do, I will read the applicants, their category, and what it is that they're requesting. And at the end of the list, I will make a motion that the board approve the requests that are being made. The first request is a request made by Policy Colada Shop Bresca, license number 76804. They are a restaurant, Class C restaurant. It's a trade name change application. The new name is Joint/Colada Shop /Bresca. The next request is a request made by Kempton Carlisle, license number 112302. They are a Class C hotel. It's a trade name change application. The new name is now Lyle, Lyle. The next request is a request made by Dangerous Delicious DC, license number 87422. They are a Retail C Tavern. This is a trade name change application. The new name is now Pie Shop. The next request is a request made by Domain, license number, this is incorrect, I don't have the correct license number, but they are a storage facility. They're asking for a letter of request for renewal of storage facility permit. The next request is a request made by Extreme Pizza, license number 117731. They are a tavern. This is a transfer without sale application. The next request is a request made by Watergate Ventures and Spirits, license number 117760. They are a liquor store, and this is a transfer with sale application. The next request, a request made by Les Hamless, license number 117461. This is a retailer, C Tavern, and this is a new ABC license application. The next request is a request made by Takeria Las Himless, license number 117462. They are a tavern, a retailer, C Tavern. This is a new ABC license application. The next request is a request made by 5 Iron Golf DC, license number 117909. They are a retailer, C Restaurant. This is a new ABC license application. The next request is a request made by H Street Fine Wine and Liquors, license number 117405. They are a retailer, A Liquor Store. This is a new ABC license application. The next request is a request made by Undercurrent Collective, license number 117327. They are a retailer, Internet A. This is a new ABC license application. The next request is made by E Market and Restaurants, license number 108896. They are a retailer B. This is a stock transfer application. And the last request, a request made by Metropolitan Wellness Center. The ABRA license is 117376. They are a dispensary. This is a transfer to a new location, which is 433 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest. I therefore make a motion that the ABC Board approve all the requests that were made on our docket today. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that was properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada.
Rima Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. That is therefore passes 7-0-0. The board has now come to the end of its scheduled agenda for the day, and I will now adjourn for the day. And so let me close the meeting officially. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with Title III, Chapter 405, Office of Open Government, I move that ABC Board hold a closed meeting on February 11th, 2021 for the purpose of discussing and hearing reports concerning ongoing or planned investigations of alleged criminal or civil misconduct or violations of law or regulations, and seeking legal advice from our legal counsel on the board's investigative agenda, legal agenda, and licensing agenda for February 11th, 2021, as published in the DC Register on February 5th, 2021. Is there a second?
Ms.
Ed
Crockett
Grandis.
seconds.
Both Mr. Grandis and Ms. Crockett have seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Wabzada. Ms. Wabzada? Unmute your microphone.
Wabzada, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Edward Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. As it appears that the motion has passed, I hereby give notice that the ABC Board will hold this aforementioned closed meeting. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, notice will also be posted on the ABC Board hearing room bulletin board, placed on the electronic calendar on ABRA's website, and published in the DC Register in as timely a manner as practical. We are now adjourned for the day. I want to thank the members for their active participation today. And I will now direct the members for us to return to executive session for our continued business. Have a great day. Thank you very much.